scores for Scotland. Romajang stepping away. Stunning work from Bridger. What an individual score this is. Dombrandt is in.
Talent aplenty has graced these great leagues, but now future stars are set to shine. Last season was the most thrilling to date, but now it's time for a new crop of talent to grace the field, and in this league, anything could happen. It's time to take your seat. The best leagues in the land are back.
Byfield with a BUCS Super Rugby try for the ages.
And then was a white line seeking missile.
Loughborough score! Drives towards the line. Sensational score from Romajang.
Winding to here and drive to the line. And Cardiff are streaking across. Welcome back, everybody. BUCS Super Rugby is back underway.
Welcome to the StoneX. It's not just Wednesday, it is the Wednesday, the last Wednesday of an epic season. The champion will be crowned. Will it be the green and white of Exeter for the three-peat XX Exeter? Or for the first time of this era, will Loughborough lift the trophy and rest the demons of last season? This is what they're competing for. It is sterling silver, it is beautiful, it is decked with the names of over a century of incredible rugby. And there are the champions behind me. They've had the most epic league season. Loughborough, they've built into it. League champions last year. We're going to be hearing from Charlie Titcombe a little bit later. We're going to hear all about that. But they have had that one thing on their mind, that extra time, that 48-44, that heartbreak of not getting over the line that final time to lift the trophy. It's the big one. It's Exeter. It's Loughborough. We're counting down to kickoff. All roads lead to the StoneX. Going to be an unbelievable celebration of the best leagues in the land. It's Loughborough versus Hartpury. It's Loughborough versus Exeter. I can't wait. You can't either. We'll see you there.
I'm gonna fight them all. A seven-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. And the message coming from my eyes says, leave it alone.
Fast hands, sharp hands from Burgundy.
And it's a little offload. It could work out here for Hartpury. They're into the score.
Loughborough filling their boots on their way to the try line.
Slides underneath the sticks. So many memories from last season, but it is time to make some new ones. Great days require great company, and we've got great company as well. We've got Daz Fern, England students coach. We've got Gareth Baber, the director of rugby systems at Cardiff Met, and we have Scarlets, and perhaps most importantly, BUCS Super Rugby champion Charlie Titcombe joining us for today. Daz, occasions like this, you've been part of a massive BUCS game yourself recently. You're looking forward to guiding another England students team who are looking for a three-peat themselves. These are special days for these young men.
Yeah, they're massive. They're massive for the lads, and it's consistency through the year that gets them here. It's performances today that'll be massive for them. Like they're big players stepping up, and there's some talent out there, and it'll be great to see how they go today.
And you'll be looking at a few of them for England students, I've no doubt. Gareth, you've been attacking on two fronts this season with Cardiff Met, but you've got to know these two teams very well. What is it about the two programmes that have got them to this stage and this great occasion?
Well, I think that both teams have got real good power in their game, be it physically or be it by the skill level that they have. Certainly from an Exeter perspective, we've played them twice this year and come off second best against them twice, and I think that what they bring is a clarity about what they're about. They use their physicality, they hold on to ball for long periods of time, and they've got some deceit in their game as well, which creates opportunities. What I would say about Loughborough, though, is they're very capable of getting surprises into the game. To me, they like to play off looser pieces of ball, transition, counter-attack. And certainly in our game recently up in Loughborough, that was a hallmark of the way that they played, and they were ruthless in the way that they did that. So I think it's a good match-up, two different styles, and a great occasion for it.
Oh, a massive occasion. The second time we've been here, The first time, Charlie, you were a big part of it. You had an incredible performance, but came, well, should we call it second in a 2-horse race? How much of that has shaped this 12 months of rugby you've played, and describe how much of a special occasion it was for you, because it was certainly special for us watching from the other side of the white line.
Yeah, of course. It was one of those games that you look back with obviously fond memories, being a part of that 100 minutes. It was a pretty epic game for everyone involved, and obviously to come out on the wrong side of that was tough. And I've got no doubt, I think there's 8 or 9 boys that are playing today that played last year, so I've got no doubt they'll be wanting revenge, especially against Exeter. There's a immense rivalry between Loughborough and Exeter that's been shaped over the last few years, and I think last year was probably the best game of rugby that BUCS has potentially ever seen, is what people are saying. So yeah, no doubt Exeter will be looking to go back to back to back, and Loughborough want to stop that.
What about this season then? Because I know you're very close to both groups. I know you made some friends in Exeter during the England students' time, but you perhaps don't like to talk about it. How impressed have you been with the way that both teams have gone about their business this year?
Yeah, Exeter have been quality. Like to go on the streak they did, and the league season they did, it's a testament to them and I guess their coaching staff. We know how hard it was last year. 18 games back to back to back, hard games all the time. So they're obviously going to be a really, really tough outfit today for Loughborough, but like I said, that Loughborough team that want revenge for last year, and also they don't want to see Exeter do the double. They beat us, they stopped us doing the double last year, so there's that added bit of motivation, I think, this year as well for Loughborough, and I've got no doubt they have the players that can ignite a game, and I can't wait. It's going to be a class contest.
Well, in the BUCS Super Rugby era, it's only Hartpury who've managed to do that league and cup double. They've also done the three-peat of 3 cups as well, which is something Exeter are trying to do today. We're going to be going to Joe Burns shortly with the team news. Both teams pretty consistent. Gareth, you've been attacking on both fronts in the Welsh Championship and BUCS Super Rugby. How important is that consistency in the 15 and the 23 towards shaping a successful season?
Well, I think obviously the consistency around personnel that you can put in there that sort of grow together, make errors together and find exactly what their game is about is hugely important, not just in what happens in BUCS Rugby but across rugby generally. And what you're really looking for is some sort of system that you operate, you all go to, is really powerful for you. And then you look at dump that on top of teams every time you get the opportunity to do it. And these are 2 teams that have managed to do that this year. Good mature programs in what they develop, good depth in terms of the quality of players that they have, and obviously barring some injuries that both teams would have, you're going to see that quality out here today.
And Daz, you're familiar with a lot of names here. You've worked with some of them with England students. I'm sure there'll be plenty of names from both Loughborough and Exeter who face France in Coventry in a couple of weeks' time. The players that come from these programmes, how impressed are you with what they bring to your England students programme? We're a little bit close here, actually. I'm just going to take us out of the firing line.
Yeah, listen, there's some cracking players across the BUCS pyramid, and the lads who come from these programmes, like the back rows especially. So Lucas Durrell was huge for us in France last year. He was quality. I know he's a leader for the Exeter team. He calls their line out. He's a big cog within him. Then you flip it to Loughborough. George Taylor, he's going to be massive for them as well. So there's a couple of examples, but there's some talent on show, and they're always good lads who come into the programme.
All right, these lads have got to hold some tackle bags, I think, because Exeter are getting seriously loose. Burnsy, you've got the team news for us.
Yeah, D-Rog, I sure do. And you were talking about consistency there. Well, if you tune into the semi-finals, there isn't much to report. There is only one change to the starting lineups for both these sides. They're injury enforced, such is the faith that everybody is putting in the men that got them to this moment. For Exeter, it's a sad one. Archie Owlett injured in training last Wednesday, preparing for this biggest of challenges. He's out. That denies him the opportunity of featuring in a 3rd consecutive BUCS Super Rugby final. But the good news is there's plenty who've been there and done it before. Milo Hallam, Benji Joslin and Jared Williams will become just the 2nd person ever to start 3 consecutive BUCS Super Rugby finals. There's experience, but 8 freshers across the board. Whilst for Loughborough, again, one change. It's Ollie Allen, the England 20 scrum half, the former London Irishman who won't be starting at 9, but Tom Miles, who started the final last year, he's in. You just have to look across that team sheet at the experience of the back row. Mario Picciardi
He's captained this Loughborough side this season. He's also Spain's international captain, and he's alongside Henry Lavin, who will skip at the side in the final, and Dan Eckersley as well. And then looking to their bench, Joe Plunkett, try scorer in the final last year, and Reece Malone. We know all about his consistency and class. Real firepower to bring from that bench.
Welcome to the StoneX and welcome to the greatest day of the week. It's BUCS Super Rugby Wednesday and it is the one to trump them all. It is finals day and we have the two best sides in the best league in the land.
Back to back in double delight. The two best teams in student rugby, first and second in the league. Jared Williams, reaches and nearly gets him, he's just short. What a start for Exeter. It's out and it's Exeter 5, Loughborough 0. Perfect conditions for this final, and perfect conditions for Loughborough to respond, and it is Teddy Loughborough. It's intercepted, and Josh Barton! He was the hero in the quarter, the hero in the semi, and will he be the hero in the final? Strong goes again, Milo Ham! It's over! That is wheeled around here for Loughborough, they're over the line! Daly! He's trying to take the long way around, Kofi back, Byfield, still back, Byfield! My goodness me! Kofi back, Byfield! With a BUCS Super Rugby try for the ages! Little inside ball, second time for Johnny Tinker. Huge pass out to Rosen, who goes in. Playing with an advantage. Brilliant parry. And Tom Pins darts and dives, and Exeter back in control. And Dan John brings an end to the greatest game University Rugby has ever seen. It's 2 in a row. The Kings of the Cup. Destiny Day ends with Exeter and BUCS Super Rugby National Champions. It's a final that had everything, but ultimately it's a final that ends with Exeter University as the champions once more.
One of the greatest days in university rugby history. In fact, we've just had university rugby history taken from us here, but we were looking through some of the names that have been on that trophy over the last 100 years, and it's been amazing to see the adventures that so many of the players have gone on since last year's final. But let's talk about this season. Exeter, the league champions. You've won Premier North with Newcastle this year. Just give us an idea of what it took week in, week out to get to the top and to stay at the top.
Yeah, so it's consistency naturally, like consistency of winning games, consistency of performance. There'll be certain things teams go after, so these two will have a game model which will, so framework, what they'll go after in attack, defence, their identity as such, and then it's big moments. There's going to be big moments today. We saw that like in last year's final. It's stepping up in them big moments. They'll be expecting their big players to step up, which again we saw last year, and I'm sure we'll see this year.
And Charlie, there's always the discussion in BUCS and BUCS Super Rugby, what's more important and what's more difficult? Is it winning the league or is it winning the cup? Somebody who's played in a cup final, somebody who's won the league. Where do you stand on that debate now?
And there's two massive support bases for both unis here. They're in a fine voice, but yeah, it pains me to say, I'd probably say the cup. Obviously you need to be consistent to go and win the league and win 18 games, or do as well as you can in 18 games, but I think when the pressure's on and it's the two best teams in the league today going head to head, I've got to say the cup. It's probably, not that I know, but it's probably the best feeling you can have in university rugby, in my opinion. So yeah, I'd have to go with the cup.
Well, we are counting down to kickoff. Still lots to chat about. However, Laura Jane Jones has been out and about catching up with Exeter coaches.
Big day today, and there's some injury-enforced changes in the front row with Tom Gully, a fresher, coming in, and John Cunningham-Ash on the bench. Any concerns over those changes?
No, not at all. Tom's actually started his fair share of games this season, so yeah, more than confident with that. It's obviously gutting for Archie missing out on injury, and he's a third year, so that's gutting for him, and we feel that pain for him. But really excited for John as well to get involved in his first BSR game. He's been going really, really well all season, so yeah, it's exciting for him.
How's he feeling psychologically? He could be making his BUCS debut in this game, the final of all games.
Yeah, I think he's quite comfortable because obviously we had a 2-week lead up to this, so he's trained really well with the team and he's well prepped. Obviously there'll be nerves and there will be for all the guys, but yeah, I'm confident in him and I know he'll be nervous, but he's ready to go.
The great Vince Lombardi once said that winning becomes a habit. When it comes to back-to-back-to-back finals, is that the same thing, or is there a lot of pressure on this side today?
Yeah, I think there's always pressure in these games, and it's how you deal with it. But last year's finals feels like a long time ago, but it lives long in the memory because it was a cracker. But yeah, it's different squads now. You know, a lot of guys have moved on, and some of our guys have been lucky enough to experience a couple of finals now. So that's brilliant, and that will stand them in good stead. And they've talked about that a little bit in the lead up and how to deal with that. So that's brilliant, and I think, you know, we've put ourselves in a position this season where we've got a shot at another final through hard work, and that's what we need to do this game, is just work hard again, work hard for each other, and give ourselves the best chance.
And it is another final because this will be the double if you manage this one today. You'd only be the second team since Hearts, but we did it in the beginning of the BUCS Super League history to do that double. What would it mean to this side, and where would it place you in the history of BUCS teams?
Well, it's something we talked about at the start of the season. We had a couple of goals and we wanted to win the league because it's not something we've done for a while, and that consistency paid off. And yeah, we're here now. We've achieved getting to the final, so it's a one-off shot. In terms of the history of it, yeah, the guys want to leave a mark, and I think they've already done that, to be honest. So for me, it's just about giving ourselves the best chance of finishing the job. Really excited to see the guys, put their best foot forward, and I think there's more potential than we've shown already. So that's what we've talked about, and that's what hopefully we'll show today.
And a word on your opposition. Loughborough will be looking to avenge last year's final, and obviously you've beaten them twice already in the league this season. What are you expecting from them today?
Just a really tough opposition. Over the last few years, that's every time we meet, it's a really hard-fought game, and they've got strengths across the field. We're well aware of that, and all we can do is focus really on ourselves, and whatever they throw at us, we've got to fight tooth and nail to stop, and then show our best strengths really. But we know it's going to be a tough game, and that's what it should be at this stage really.
Thanks for your time. Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
That was Gareth Elliott talking about leaving a mark. The team standing in his way, Loughborough, the head coach, Martin Webdale, who's with Laura Jane Jones.
Martin, finals days are joyous, happy occasions, excitement abound, but it's about revenge for you lot today, isn't it?
I wouldn't say revenge. We're a very, very different squad from last season. I think there's only about 8 of the 23 from last year playing again today. Completely new side, so it's a real opportunity for those guys to go and express themselves today on the big stage.
How tough a task is it against Exeter when they've beaten you twice in the league already this season?
Yeah, Exeter have been a standout team in the league this season. They've been really good week to week, and that only shows from that league table. So it'll be a huge challenge today, but one I think we're ready for.
We have to have some positives here. I feel like I've started on a really negative note with you, but you are now at Loughborough on the unrivaled, unbeaten run in BUCS history since you lost to Exeter in the league last. What's clicked for the side?
I think we've just grown as a team together. We're obviously a new group this season, so it takes a lot of time to bed in. And as you say, since Christmas, we've been on a real run. The team's grown in confidence. We've had some really good performances. These last 2 knockout games, we've been very good. So really, really pleasing in that respect.
So on the last 2 occasions that you faced this team, you've lost. Where is the unlocking of Exeter today?
Oh, look, Exeter play exactly like Exeter Chiefs in terms of their blitz defence. They come really hard, so we've got some plans to potentially try and exploit that. We've got to be brave in attack with ball in hand, so we're going to give it a go and see what happens.
Just the one change for your side today is Tom Miles, who comes in at scrum half. He obviously played in last year's final. How positive is it that you could bring someone of his quality and experience in this competition in?
Yeah, unfortunate to Ollie, he missed out with an ankle injury this week. Tom has played over 50 BUCS Super Rugby games for us in his final year now. He's been outstanding in his 3 years here, so he'll be more than up to the task, I'm sure.
Thanks for your time. Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
It turns out we're not the only ones who are really looking forward to this, because the teams are already out. It is Exeter looking for the three-peat. It is Loughborough looking to lift the trophy for the first time in the BUCS Super Rugby era. Talking you through this one, Charlie Titcombe and the Fresh Prince of Kew Gardens, Joe Burns.
The Green Machine versus the African Violet, a collision of colours, and the clash of two University Rugby titans. The showdown at the StoneX, part 2. And Exeter with early possession in their 22. 46 men selected for this, the Hillary step before the Everest of BUCS Rugby. And it's one man to his captain, Lucas Durrell, wearing 6 for Exeter, player of the final last year, and a thunderous carry from the Exeter front row. Missing Archie Owlett, power not diminished. Milo Hallam, 2 tries at the StoneX in that victory against Loughborough last year. And already Exeter moving through the crunching gears, but meeting the shoulder of George Taylor. Joe Bailey, the England 20. Cohen, the fresher, to McCaig, fizzes it, one more, and that's some nice weaving hips coming in from Hugo Ellaby. Murray spots a bit of space and spins Elliot Gawley on his heels. He seeks the touchline. The BUCS Super Rugby finals underway, and I've got Charlie Titcombe, he's come and joined me up here.
Burnsy, pleasure to be here. Looks like a bit of a breeze in Loughborough's favour, I think, today. Well, the first half anyway. Exeter going through their phase play looked pretty threatening, but Loughborough managed to stand up there, so I think there's going to be a bit of a battle in the middle third, first 20 minutes. We'll see who can come out on top there.
Well, Louis Gully, one of 8 freshers in this Exeter match day 23, gets the special honour of packing down alongside his brother, finds his man, and off go Exeter, seeking the edges, feeding the speed, going to Jocelyn, who can't quite wriggle free. But Exeter are across the halfway line. Louis Gully, once again, 13 tries to his name in his debut season, but Jared Williams gets ended on the halfway line. I'll tell you what, George Taylor's pretty lucky to avoid a penalty there as he gets in the way of Jake Murray. Pretty big D from Loughborough in these early exchanges, Charlie.
Yeah, excellent D set. Meeting them on the gain line at the minute. Exeter aren't really going anywhere at the minute, so it's a good start defensively from Loughborough. Boys are flying in.
Well, just tipped on there to Jack Forsyth, player of the match in the semi-final. That victory against Bath, which was like war for the opening 20 minutes. Collisions like never seen before at BUCS Super Rugby level. And Cohen, who's really looked wise beyond his years in the 10 jersey, looks to release that back line again, but still Loughborough a match before they go off their feet in the attempt to steal. Cohen, extravagant dummy, not bought. Gobbled up by Kildun. Well, interesting kick, allowed to bounce and dribble. Unusual.
Yeah, Jake Murray's looking threatening with that little kick over the top. I think it's Gourlay twice now, just let it bounce. He's threatening when he gets the ball on the full and he has a chance to counter-attack, so I think that'd be something Loughborough might need to tidy up here.
Elliot Gawley, Kirkham lad, went to school with last year's captain, Teddy Leatherbarrow. And Loughborough, at long last, after nearly 4 minutes, get their hands on the ball. Oh, goodness me. And that's what Jack Forsyth thinks about that. The former Worcester Warrior going into battle.
I think that's something today that both teams are going to pride themselves on, their kick and kick chase. I think it's massive, both of these teams.
Well, Lucas Durrell steals through. Jake Murray's unattended in the backfield looking for friends, but finds himself swarmed upon by African Violet. But Exeter into the 22 in possession for the first time in the match. Durrell to Power, outstanding in the semi-final. Earned the right to retain his jersey despite Chester Ribbons returning from injury. He'll have a save from the bench. Milo Hallam, another man who's had to fight for his jersey despite being a 2-time champion. Him, Alfie Bell and Joe Bailey locked in competition all season. McCaig in at first receiver, just flipping it out the back. It almost died on Cohen, but still Exeter retained the ball. Back into the 22. What a carry from Hugo Ellaby. Ball popped inside Tom Gully, who's looked lively, seizing his chance to start a final. McCaig puts a bit of air on it, Durrell out wide, and it was high risk and almost the richest reward before Gourlay pounced upon him. Hallam back into the action. Oh, big hit coming in from Owen Evans. Stolen, charged down, and this could be Exeter in, but they are saved. Saved by the blast of referee Alan Chandrachud's whistle. And Charlie, you've just visibly breathed a sigh of relief next to me.
My heart was in my mouth for a second there. But I think Loughborough got to take a lot of momentum from that D. Really, really good D set. Stopping Exeter on the gain line, pushing them back, forcing an error. So they obviously need a bit of the ball and a bit of territory, but I think they'll take a lot of confidence from that defensive set. Exeter do look threatening with the ball. They've got good lead runners, tipping and going out the back at the line as well. They look threatening, so it'll be interesting to see who breaks first in that sort of duel there. Not sure what Mario thinks he's doing with the right foot there, but
our first scrum of the match, and there was all that talk about Archie Owlett being out injured, but Tom Gully has been imperious throughout, alongside his brother Louis and the EURC Flair favourites Jared Williams, starting his third BUCS Super Rugby final, and up against the Loughborough trio of Eric Nixon, Seb Smith and Mink Sharink, who officially is a second year, but I believe you'd have to cut him open and count the rings to see precisely how many years.
It's a dubious second year,
He's
I think.
been at
I think he
Loughborough.
might be a sixth year by now, but
And
yeah, that's a great exit.
is a nice tidy exit. Big pressure reliever, and this, as I said, Charlie, for all Exeter's possession, no points to show from this opening 7 minutes of dominance.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's a slight breeze in Loughborough's favour, so that's a great exit from Morgan. But it has been all Exeter, hasn't it, with the ball in hand, so Loughborough looking to try turn over and get a bit of an attacking opportunity in their half, see what they can do with it.
Oh, the bounce of the ball going Eric Nixon's way. The big bull called back. Faintest of knock-ons. You mentioned the win, Charlie. You're going to know this win better than most after last year, and it is an unusual stadium, open well, at all ends, all corners, kind of everywhere. It swirls in and out. How difficult is it to judge as a kicker, not just from the tee but from the hand?
Yeah, like you said, it does swirl a lot. It's a nice fast track, obviously a 4G, but it does swirl a lot. So like I think at Gourlay especially, and Ellaby in the back as well, taking those high balls, that's something that they're really going to have to pay a lot of attention to if the penalty falls to Exeter.
Well, first scrum penalty of the day, and it's against the big beef farmer, Eric Nixon. Early pictures being painted to the referee at the scrum. The Seven Nation Army is blasted around the StoneX, and you can hear, accompanying it, an army of Loughborough and Exeter supporters, vociferous and fervent. The tail targeted, and Joe Bailey coming down. Seb Driscoll, 12 tries this season from the powerful number 8. He's someone who maybe at times lives in the shadow of Durrell and Forsyth, and Captain Durrell is on the ball there, but make no mistake, Seb Driscoll has a huge impact on proceedings whenever he pulls on the jersey. Cohen invites Power to be crunched for not much meterage. McCaig inside, big shoulders arriving from the African Violet. And not rolling away.
So Jack Forsyth there pointing to the sticks. Yeah, they take the 3. I think that's a good decision in a final like this, knocking the points over, especially in the first 10, getting 3 points on the board. I think they'll be pleased with that. They've also had a lot of ball, so coming away with points will be big for Exeter here.
Did your strategy, did your mentality change coming into this final last year in terms of taking the points? Because, you know, the flavour in rugby, as it has been kind of the last 5 to 10 years, I guess, is go to the corner, try and drive the try, but obviously looking to take the points here in the final.
Yeah, we've got an excellent maul, and we scored a lot of maul tries last year. Or we had an excellent maul, I said. I don't know what it's like this year. It might be good, it might be not. I'm not really much of a maul expert, but I think in a final it was always going to be a tight game. Exeter obviously scored a lot more tries than us, but yeah, I think sort of Teddy and the leaders around the group wanted to go and take the 3, and it just sort of chip away at Exeter's score.
Charlie McCaig, flawless in the semi-final, gets off to a fine start at the StoneX. He delivers the first blow of the afternoon. It is Exeter 3, Loughborough 0. And Loughborough, right this moment, living on attacking scraps. If we had possession stats for you, Exeter would be high 90s. And that is some carry. Backpacking. Purple jerseys all the way up to the 10-metre line.
User 9.
8 freshers in the Exeter side versus the 3 of Loughborough today. There are 8 returnees from that epic final last year. Elliot Gaulet, not one of them. He was busy playing championship rugby, but he scragged, and then he surrenders another penalty.
I'm not actually sure what that was for. Was that off the ball, maybe an off the ball tackle? I'm not actually sure though.
Yeah, the jackal is just.
So Gully, who's come through the Chiefs Academy, got his first start against Cardiff away, bagged a couple of tries and hasn't really looked back, competing with Joe Viner all season for the jersey. He installs himself in the armchair, shielded by green and white before him, before Power receives it, flips it to McCaig. It's a nice little carry, and Loughborough a little ponderous getting round the corner, and Seb Driscoll gets hit low and hard and well by Henry Lavin. Another carry from the Exeter centres who are working hard. Dan Eckersley dragging them back. Durrell on the inside ball from McCaig, and look at the leg drive. Tipped on to Gully, who's crunched by Evans. The Wales 20s man. McCaig, not many options, but he finds a good one in Jocelyn, but it all gets a little bit congested in there.
Prevented the post attack.
Again, I think Loughborough get away with one there. Exeter again, marched up the field from 2 penalties. Again, they'll be looking to just try and get their hands on the ball, to be honest, get into this game. It's been a lot of defending in this first 14 minutes.
Alan Chandrachud was the man in the middle for Exeter's semi-final against Bath, so he knows the league champions well. He knows the BUCS Super Rugby landscape very well indeed. Cries of Exeter being offside as Chris Preen, distinctive in his head guard, the former back row centre, showing he hasn't lost any of those hard carrying instincts. Meredith spots a bit of space, lots of space, pops up nicely and he's side down. Great vision. Loughborough probe down the short side, put a tricky kick in, and Exeter almost get tangled amongst themselves. First bit of real pressure for Loughborough as their blazered supporting cohort rise to their feet in the stand across the way, and they win a penalty.
Number 5
off feet. That's huge for momentum. That good opportunity now to get into our more game. I think unless Morgs thinks about taking the 3, but I think that was a good. Yeah, he looks to goes to the sticks, but that's a great option from Morgs
Arrive
there.
up, please, Exeter.
Chipping that over the top. Obviously, seeing there's no 9 in behind there, regathers it.
And Morgan Meredith, former England 18, ex-Tigers Academy. His time with Tigers has come to an end, and if anything, it is 0 on wearing the African violet of Loughborough. He has grown and grown throughout the knockouts. He is kicking at an astonishing 97% from the tee this season. And he embellishes that statistic yet further on the stage that matters the most. Loughborough, shorn of territory, starved of possession, but level on the scoreboard with 17 minutes gone. Mario Pichardi, who was playing for Spain against Argentina in the World Cup warm-ups last summer at Atletico Madrid Stadium in front of nearly 60,000. Not quite so many in today, but I'd argue that it'd be a good attempt to be as noisy.
Oh yeah, wouldn't be surprised if it was noisier, to be honest.
One thing the BUCS Super Rugby doesn't lack for is tribalism, or rare talents like Hugo Ellaby. His performances in National 2 over the season have earned him the right to call the 15 jersey his own. Lucas Durrell, the former Brive Espoir. McCaig this time doesn't distribute, instead puts his head down, and Exeter again just eking through the meters. Joe Bailey gets consumed, but Pichardi is a little too high.
Yeah, touch high, I think, around the shoulder, maybe slipping up there, but you can see Mario, he's an aggressive guy, wants to go enough and make a mark. I think just touch there.
Oh, criminally a missed touch and return with a hell of a lot of interest.
It's a great nudge from Gourlay. He's got everything at the back there. He's got a great running game, clearly there, good kicking game as well. He's going to be huge today. As well, Ralston hasn't had much ball, but looking back at last year, he was absolutely outstanding. Quite easily been man of the match if he managed to turn Exeter over, but I think he'll be looking to get the ball kill done as well. Getting the ball in this back three's hand will be really threatening for Loughborough.
Well, Ralston scored the try that presented you with the opportunity to take the final to extra time. It was off an absolute seed from you, but that seed has gone awry, right into the grasp of Seb Smith, player of the match in Loughborough's semi-final victory. The hooker area so keenly contested at Loughborough. Meredith to Preen. Preen slips the tackle of McKay. Preen living the African violet dream! He had no right. Force of will, pure desire, and Chris Preen to break Exeter's whitewash under the sticks.
It's outstanding from Preen, converted to centre from back row.
And he looks like a back row breaking the tackle there. It's excellent from Prino. That's huge for Loughborough again. Not much territory, not much possession, but been really clinical when they got down there. That's going to be key in a final.
Well, another man who was here at the StoneX last season, almost a year ago. A big player for this Loughborough side. Fabulous try, but it's one that you would think the Exeter defence are going to be rollicks for at half-time. Irish qualified, Chris Preen. He's coming back for a bit more next year as well, I understand. Former Queen's Academy man. We've just got a bit of a delay here because Tom Gully, who was, I think, the second man to be slipped after McCaig was shrugged off. Some pretty agricultural patchwork done on his forehead there. Whatever stems the flow, you don't want to miss a minute. Not just as a player, but as a viewer. Quarter of the match gone. All the ball's been with Exeter, but the lead lies with Loughborough. Ellaby is so slippery. One of the performances of Ellaby that got him into this BUCS Super Rugby starting jersey was against Loughborough when they played in National 2 in February. Loughborough won that one, and they brought a similar energy here to the StoneX, and they're beginning to find their groove. Gourlay looks to find Rowson, but he's again denied. Tidy ball to work with. Loughborough back beyond their 10-metre line. This is Seb Smith, the man who loves the collisions. And Meredith has put the laces and more through that one, and unless Ellaby's got a touch, we're heading all the way back. And that is a real gift for the boys from Devon.
Yeah, again, that's I think that just shows the wind. It's a good option, I think, from Morgan there as well to kick. Going backwards, and it's unlucky as a 10 there when you think you found a nice bit of grass and it bounces on this surface. Again, I thought he was going to go for the chip there. There was another opportunity to there, just put that little dink over the top. He'll definitely be looking at that space. It's a pretty good start from Morgan by that mistake.
Some further attention here for Joe Bailey, who, well, he's a pretty local lad as far as Exeter goes. He's from Newton Abbot, where when I was at Exeter, we used to have a fixture against the local prison in Newton Abbot. Charlie,
how did that go? I bet that was physical.
Channings Wood away was not one that you licked your lips at the prospect of being picked for.
Tight hamstring that week, was it?
It was certainly character building. Don't know if it's still on the fixture list. We restart with a scrum. Jake Murray to Cohen. McCaig to the line. Ellaby, every time he touches the ball, you feel something's going to happen. McCaig, rangy, almost hurdling into those tackles. Forsyth, lovely footwork. And Durrell, his shadow as always. Power gives it to Gully, who gets greeted by a Loughborough welcoming committee that includes Mink Sharink. Forsyth just lurking on the shoulder. Exeter looking for these inside balls. McCaig Slips it on to Williams. Power. Again, that inside option being sought by Exeter, but the jackling jaws of Loughborough clamp down.
That is one thing with those inside balls, you can get isolated. Morgs has gone for the crossfield again here, go on.
Here we go, no lessons learned from the semi-final. Sam Kildun gets scragged round the ankles. He looked to be labouring along there, didn't he? Oh, and dropped just as Loughborough had seized some momentum. James Langston's quick to respond and throw him into a grapple, and Kildun is limping. He wasn't at full tilt. And I wonder if Exeter has spotted this. He gets shifted in one there defensively as Tom Miles makes up for it. Exeter have the ball, they're in their 22. They are ostensibly playing against 14 here. Look at that line speed, voracious defence from Loughborough. Murray in no rush. He puts one to compete. That's in no man's land, and an extra hand reaches, but Sharink is first to the bounce, and look at that strength. Meredith picks out Eckersley, who almost slips through a hole. Gyrates on another half metre. Meredith to Pichard. Tricky pass around the bootstraps. Green, the try scorer. High tackle coming from Exeter, so Loughborough can roll the dice. Loughborough can more than roll the dice. But eventually they find the touchline.
I reckon Morgs again is Killer's down, getting some treatment, but I reckon Morgs will look to knock over the 3 again here.
Substitution for London University legal midfield number 11, Sam Kildun, replaced by 23, Victor.
Morgan Meredith, he was in your shot there alongside his captain Henry Lavin. He's capable of moments of real brilliance, isn't he? And the talk is that his sort of mastery at 10 of steering the team around the park has come on huge amounts this season.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've seen there his attacking kicking game's been pretty good this first 23 minutes. Obviously we know about his goal kicking from last week and so far. But yeah, I think he's starting to control the games a lot better as well, playing the right areas at the right time. He's obviously got Tom Miles at 9 as well, helping out with that. I don't know how many caps, but he's got about 52, 53 caps, I think, for Loughborough and BSR, and he played about 60 minutes last year, so he's got a lot of experience to help Morgs out. But no, Morgs has been really impressive at the minute.
Well, here's another look at that try from Chris Preen. Well, he's a big unit, but he's got a speedy weave on him as well. Not a fingerprint laid on him by the fullback.
He's a powerful bloke, him. I've used to have him down my channel in training, and that's one of them you leave to the inside centre, so you can have him, mate.
Poor old Teddy Leatherbarrow, you're taking years off his shoulders by getting him to deal with it for you, yeah?
Yeah, he's had a few new shoulders by now, he's used to that. He's somewhere in that crowd over there, I'm sure, probably one of the loudest in the group.
A hefty Loughborough contingent have travelled down As the African Violet look to right the wrongs, to wreak revenge after last year. And the right boot of Morgan Meredith will have a big say in the outcome of this final. He's bang on target again. And Loughborough lead Exeter 11 points to 3, but the coach killer, a knock on from the kickoff reception from Owen Evans.
So killer is one of them cliches, the points don't count till you exit, but the pressure's right back on Loughborough here. This is similar to last year in ebbs and flows in the game. If Exeter can manage to get a penalty, knock over 3, you know, that saps the life out of Loughborough after knocking that 3 over from Morgan there. So yeah, like you said, a bit of a coach killer.
Well, Loughborough potentially fortuitous because it was picked up, it was played by a Loughborough player in front, but just a scrum, big juicy blindside to work with, but Exeter will go open. Driscoll to Murray to Cohen, bring in Ellaby. Why wouldn't you get his hands on the ball? Durrell skips back inside into the traffic and picks up a couple of fender benders for his troubles. Cohen to Williams, 57th BUCS Super Rugby appearance in EURFC colours. Ellaby, still Ellaby. Where does he get the power from? Penalty advantage for Exeter. Joe Bailey plunges through a couple of purple jerseys. Murray spots a glint of light and the door slams shut just in time. Driscoll repelled. Ellaby's got a bit of room to work with here on the left-hand side as he shuffles tighter to the touchline, but the forwards will go inch by inch if needed. The closest Exeter have been to the Loughborough line, but latched upon. And I think we'll go back to the penalty advantage.
Yeah, I think there's a couple for Exeter to choose from. I think Lavin there not releasing potentially or off his feet at the breakdown. You don't want to give them ins like this, Exeter, because they will punish you. You've got a good mauling game, obviously a big pack on them. Looks like they're going to go to that here.
And they do just that. And as if you needed any justification, you just need to look at Louis Gully. 13 tries this season. The vast majority from slotting himself into the chariot at the back. There he is. Green and white horsepower ahead, looking to carve a path to the Loughborough line. Penalty advantage, but still Exeter, the green machine, irresistibly pour forward. They have their try, they have their response, and the supporters club love them for it.
Again, it's just that the exit, the lack of exit, the knock on there from the kickoff has led to 5, potentially 7 points. That's it's an absolute killer and one that's easy to hopefully tidy up. But yeah, Loughborough won't be pleased with that after being dominant for the last sort of 10 minutes of this half. Exeter definitely deserved the points, though, given how dominant they were first 10-15 minutes, the amount of ball they had.
Well, if we needed any reminding, last year saw the lead change multiple times. Every time you thought that one team was going to get away from the other, they pegged each other back. McKay pumps it low through the uprights. Exeter moved to 10 and we got a 3-point game. Well, I understand that LJ's got Sam Westmacott down pitch side. Let's hear from LJ.
Thanks, Burnsy. Sam, things looking pretty level again now.
Yeah, I think it's been quite an even game. I think Exeter have had a bit more territory than us, a bit more possession, but I think when we got down their end, we've been more clinical than them.
I loved the crowd chanting, Prino, Prino, but God gives with one hand, takes with the other. You've lost Sam Kildun. How troublesome is that going to be now?
I think we have Tinfoil who's on the bench. He's also a really good player, but yeah, I mean, we played that move in the semi-final and it worked, but unluckily, I think something happened to his hamstring, but if it didn't, I reckon we're going under the post there.
What do you think the likely messages at half-time are going to be?
I think we just need to keep the ball. We need to stop giving away penalties because I think that's what's letting them into our half. But I think in attack, the same thing. When we get down there, we're being clinical, so I think just more of that.
Thanks for your time, Sam. Back to the Fresh Prince.
Not sure you and Dave Rogers should be allowed to work together, LJ. But here we are, myself and Charlie Titcombe. Oh, look at that for a nice inside ball, inviting on another bullocking runner. And Owen Evans, battle-hardened from time playing for RGC in North Wales in the Welsh Indigo Premiership, provides a platform for Pichard to carry forward more big men. More time for Evans, and more goal-kicking opportunity potentially for Morgan Meredith. What do you say, Charlie?
Looks like he's shaping to the corner. Yeah, like Loughborough and like Exeter, Loughborough love them all. Marv Webdale, the gaffer, loves them all, so I'm sure he's been drilling them all week, so let's see if they can get over the line there.
Well, they'll be well versed. The commitment from both these sides to be here out of university term time has been remarkable. Easter was cancelled as far as Loughborough were concerned, so they could rehearse moments like this over and over again, and it's looking good. The wedge formed, and more African violet jerseys pouring in. Preen's there, Doyle's there, are Loughborough there? Yes, they are! Alan Chandrachurn raises his arm, and he raises the roof at the StoneX once again in the Loughborough part of the stand. The African Violet respond, and it's Seb Smith.
Excellent call there to go to the corner. Real clinical again, like Westy said down there in the corner. They've been real clinical once they got down in the 22. So again, coming away with points. Tough kick for Morgs here, but again, 5 points, potentially 7. Go with 5 minutes left till half time, or 6 minutes left. That's massive for Loughborough. Even better if Morgs can knock this over.
If. Usually it's a big if, but when you've got stats like Morgan Meredith, it's usually a when. He's under a bit of time pressure here though, because Elliot Gourlay's had to race across to steady the ball. Shot clock ticking. Meredith bisecting.
He's kicking like a dream, he can't miss at the minute. It's great to watch, bends that one round with the wind. Gourlay probably claimed that himself from holding the ball, but that's all Morgs' work.
And that's not something you see very regularly. Exeter don't go 10 from the kickoff, and trailing 20 points to 10 with 5 minutes and a bit of change left of the half. It is the league champions who are under the cosh here.
It's a nice out for Loughborough as well after that last kick-off. Dropping the ball, and that ultimately led to Exeter's last try, so it's a nice out and a nice position to attack from. We've got a similar setup to him behind the scrum with Gourlay and Meredith, with Preen and Langston probably looking to run hard lines, and so if we can get the scrum done, probably probably 2 minutes of scrums here. I'm sure anyone wants to watch that, do they?
I wouldn't say that either of us are scrumming aficionados, Charlie. But interestingly, watching the final back this morning from last year, an Exeter kickoff that went out on the full, went back to a scrum on halfway line, gave them a penalty, which they eventually turned to points. So sometimes finals work in mysterious ways, but it's a clean bill of health from scrum time for Loughborough on this occasion. Benji Jocelyn goes low around the ankles of Finn Doyle. Nice touch for the replacement winger, who's one for the stricken Sam Kildunn. Very sad end to his final, having battled injuries so much over the last couple of seasons. In the act as well of a potential try-scoring opportunity. Well, that's caught the wind. Oh, and that has caught the most prime piece of real estate in the Exeter 22. A bomb like that could wish for. One bounce and out. And the Loughborough players are asking for a 50-22 there. Every person wearing Loughborough colours who isn't on the pitch had their arms stretched out wide here, asking, why isn't that our ball?
Not sure if it was carried back or Morgs chucked that missed pass. I don't think it went in, but I might be wrong. Anyway, ref's decision, it's Exeter to exit into this wind.
Our Gully's darts have been outstanding. Driscoll carries and brings in Forsyth, who weaves back in and, well, transfers the ball under a bit of scrutiny. The referee says play on. Really man-marked, George Taylor and Dan Eckersley. The men arriving to deliver the hits. Murray puts a bit of hang time on this one. Majestically claimed by Gourlay. Gourlay, oh, lovely little show and a flip to Rowson, who just can't get anything to stick at the moment.
There's a bit of space there as well. I was looking forward to seeing what you do there.
Well, here's a look at that 50-22.
Looks like it was I don't know, I can't tell from there if it was carried back or not, but Morgs has got a shot at 3 here, so this will be huge if he can knock this over. 13 points at half-time. That'll be a lot of momentum for Loughborough heading into half-time.
Morgan Meredith is a problem as far as Exeter are concerned. Supreme from the tee. Any infringements are being punished right now. 100% in the semi-final, including 2 extra long second half penalties that really began to turn the tide. And the 3rd penalty of the final to close the half, to feed the optimism of those blazered boys in African violet. And a pulsating first 40 minutes is brought to a close. And it is the league champions, the final favourites, Exeter, who trail right now to Loughborough 23 points to 10.
Some half a rugby there, but I think if you're Exeter, I don't think they'll be too concerned. They're dangerous and they can score from anywhere, so.
Wow. What a first half. Is that how you expect it to go down, Charlie?
To be fair, I thought after the first sort of 10-15 minutes, Exeter looked dominant. I thought it might be potentially be a long day for Loughborough. Two of my old housemates on the screen there, Ollie Fisher and Louis Peacock. But no, I think like I just said, Exeter they're not going to give in easily. They're going to come flying back in. So Loughborough can be really pleased. I think they've come away with points every time they've got down there. Obviously they've had the win, so a bit of advantage there. It'll be interesting to see how Exeter use that, but like I said, Exeter aren't going to stop coming back at Loughborough, so still a lot of rugby to play.
Well, all those here enjoying what started as a sunny afternoon at the StoneX are off to charge their glasses, and Charlie and I are going to recharge the batteries, and we are going to leave you in the safe company of Dave Rogers. Dave, it can't possibly happen again this final, can it?
Oh, it certainly can, Joe. We're down here pitch side, and the wind is definitely a factor. Of course, we've got Gareth, we've got Daz here with us, but we have also got former Loughborough captain and winner of the fancy dress competition today, Teddy Leatherbarrow. Teddy, you've been right in the mix with all the supporters of both teams. Let us know what it's like amongst the carnage.
Oh, it's busy, it's busy. There's lots of drunk boys, as you can probably tell from the voice.
They're keeping the ball
singing along. So yeah, it's bouncing up there. The boys are really happy.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk rugby then, because there was plenty of that in the opening 40 minutes, wasn't there? Daz, it's a 23-10 scoreline. Doesn't feel like a 13-point game at the moment, though, does it?
Both teams will be disappointed with how the opportunities for the opposition have come. Missed kick to touch, missed line out, then fair play to Loughborough, they capitalise, kicks out on the full. And both teams do look like clinical. Like, I think Exeter, the second half, will back themselves to go and get this 13 points and get back in the game.
Well, so we watched that first half together in the stand away from all the ruffians there. Every time Exeter are on the ball, though, Gareth, they looked like they were winning the physical battle, yet they find themselves behind on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's a challenge, isn't it? You know, you create some field position, and you obviously they got into the 22 a number of times, but they weren't coming away with a lot in that first sort of 15-16 minutes. Loughborough break down the other end and score a try, and that can swing the momentum in a game very quickly. But you've got to say that when Exeter have been in the 22, they've looked clinical, yet they're 13 points down.
So let's talk about it from your perspective then. You were in there, there was some big moments, there was some big tries. Those first sort of 5-10 minutes, it felt like it was all Exeter. Loughborough defended the 22 well, but Exeter found ways to get back in there. From a Loughborough perspective, because these guys will talk about Exeter, I'm not going to expect you to. How do you defend that 22? How much of it is the drills that you've gone through in the week? How much of it is thinking, well, this is the last time we get to do this as a group?
Yeah, I think they probably will have talked about through the week not giving them any easy ins. Exeter have held the ball for a long time and probably put Loughborough under a bit of pressure, but they've contained them, I would say. A few times they've probably had a poor kick, kicked out on the full once, and then a couple of kicks in behind, giving Loughborough the ball back. Really, they've only let them have that one easy in, they kicked to the corner and scored, so I think we know they've got a good maul, we know they've got a good game when they get into the 22. If we can just hold on to them, not give any silly errors away, which give them an easy in, then you'd like to think we can contain them.
And inside the 22 as well, defensively, when Exeter are defending, I'm always looking at Lucas Durrell. When Loughborough are defending, I'm always looking at Dan Eckersley for that turnover to be made. As a turnover merchant yourself, what are the kind of breakdowns that you're targeting, and how many phases ahead are you thinking with regards to trying to get your hands on that ball?
Oh, I think you're always looking. You're probably looking for the pictures in the 22. There aren't too many. It's maybe whether a latcher gets disconnected and you get a bit of time to get in there. And wider out, we know, the Exeter like to play a wide, expansive game. They got some dangerous runners on the ball. If they make a half break and you can get yourself behind the ball before the Exeter support can get there, then yeah, happy days. Dan Eckersley will be licking his lips with that.
What has to change in the second half for Exeter then, other than obviously getting some points on the board?
I think first and foremost they've obviously been the wrong end of the error count. They've tried to keep hold of the ball. Possibly the wind will play a bit of a factor. They want to get that field position and they want to be clinical. Then when they get into the 22, equally Loughborough will be saying, look, same again, let's hold them out, let's create opportunities for errors and we'll capitalise on that.
Well, let's talk wind then, because we're here at the StoneX. There are two fantastic stands either side, but either end, they're pretty short. The wind runs straight through here. Morgan Meredith kicked beautifully. He's 100% in the semi-final. He's 100% here today. Loughborough know that they can get points from him, but he's not going to be kicking them from 50 metres out into this wind. Is that something that Exeter are going to be aware of, Exeter are going to want to play on in this second half?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I think that both coaching teams will be talking to players about how they manage it. As we've alluded to, Exeter will back themselves in the 22, so I think we'll see a lot more kicking from them. They've tried to keep the ball, as we said, but I think they will try and get themselves and try and pressure Loughborough. I think Loughborough they've got some good kickers, but you'll probably see them keep the ball a bit more, and as we've seen, that Harry Rowson tore up this time last year, like maybe they'll keep the ball more and back themselves, try and play phases and milk a pen and play. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept the ball a bit more this half.
Well, there were some tries for us to enjoy in that first half. The first came from Loughborough and Chris Preen. They'd been absolutely under the cosh. It was the first chance they'd really had to attack. He's in that red scrum cap. You can't miss him. And he went in under the stick. Serious finish, wasn't it? And Loughborough needed something to lift them at that time as well. And this was the second try. This was where Exeter did manage to kick into the Loughborough 22. Again, this was a good response, wasn't it? We talk about the physicality, winning the physical battle. This was an opportunity for them to impose themselves and get that more work in, Daz.
Yeah, 100%. It's to back themselves as well. I think a lot of teams would have gone for sticks, especially with the way they were kicking, but they've got the drills, and hey, fair play to them.
Well, you'd have gone for the sticks there, Gareth, wouldn't you? We were having a chat, and there they needed points on the board, but vindicated when you get that 7-pointer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, obviously the fact they'd been into the Loughborough 22 a number of times and not the converted, that possibly there was an opportunity for the 3, keep in touch. At that stage, it's 13-6. You get another one, it's 13-9. But equally, they go off and they back what they are good at and they get the try, so more for me.
But then Loughborough got an almost identical try. Seb Smith, he was man of the match in the semi-final. He goes over at the back. I mean, it's well executed by Loughborough, but that mistake at the kickoff from Exeter, that would have been incredibly frustrating for them.
Yeah, it's a bit of a coach killer, that one is. You don't want that. I'm sure he wasn't aiming for it, but equally, you've just given something away. You don't want to give something else away straight after. It's an error that you don't want in your game, and as I've sort of spoken about, I think that's where it's been the difference. There's been a few errors in Exeter. They'll be looking to tidy that up coming out second half, and I'm sure Loughborough will be looking to do much the same.
Well, give us that from a player's perspective then. When errors happen like that in games, they'll have happened for you when you were with Sale, when you were with Loughborough, now you're with the Scarlets. Doesn't matter what level. Individual errors happen, team errors happen. How do you respond to those? How do you pick your teammates up? If it's you that makes them, how do you pick yourself up?
It's tough. I mean, especially with a crowd like this, as soon as you make a mistake, they'll be on your back. It's probably harder than a professional setting, in all honesty. They're absolutely heckling you the whole match. You just got to try and think of the next moment, put it behind you, but as you say, it's easier said than done. He'll be thinking now every time he takes that ball for a kick-off, don't put it out, and it's almost what you don't want to do. But yeah, no, it's a really tough one to do, and if you can just do something really basic in your next play that you know you're good at, that can quite often just settle you down and get you into the game again.
It's really interesting hearing Teddy say that. It can be more difficult than a professional setup. You've come into Cardiff Met this year, and King Coyd is a crazy old place to go on a Wednesday. I mean, as soon as I've said it, you've smiled. Have you noticed that, the difference in the crowd getting on the backs of the student players compared to the professionals you've worked with historically?
Yeah, you can name lots of stadia around the world that happens at, but obviously we try to create that in Cardiff, and it's a tight area. It's a good place for a crowd to get behind their team and obviously heckle the opposition. So yeah, I hope it continues.
In recent weeks, you went down to Brunel. You got a fantastic win in London that got you to the playoff. It was tight at half-time, and you had to give a big half-time team talk to get the players revved up for the second half. It worked, and you won the game. What do you think the messaging will be from either team? I think they're about to poke their heads back out of the tunnel shortly. What do you think the messaging will be for Loughborough and for Exeter?
I think it'll be very specific. I think they'll look on what's gone well. I think they'll take the conditions into play, and as I said, they'll go after certain things. They'll use their strengths as well. It's important. I would expect Exeter will be, let's get down there, let's trap them, let's use our set piece. Loughborough, let's use our strengths, let's use the wind, and we'll see where we go.
And what do you think Marv will be saying at half-time? You've had plenty of his team talks.
I think he'll be happy. I think he'll ask for more of the same, really. I think Morgan Meredith's controlled the game really well. and yeah, just continue the boys to carry hard and keep down there, keep the silly discipline out as we've done, and I think hopefully from a Loughborough perspective we'll continue to thrive the second half.
How has it been being in the stands though? Because look, we follow this league week in, week out. You've played in it, you've coached in it, you've coached in it as well. But now you're kind of, well, you're not quite removed from it. You've still come in that ridiculous jacket. Thankfully your shirt and tie are smart. But you can sort of see it from the outside now. You're really in the mix, and you've spoken about it with all of the guys at Scarlets as well. Now you're in a professional setup. How is it received?
Oh, lads love it. I mean, talking about Cardiff, met Ed Scragg, who's down at the Scarlets. He goes down and coaches 2 or 3 times a week. The boys love it. We go down, we watched Newcastle Swansea in the playoffs last week. The atmosphere is great. And yeah, it's always bouncing. It's an exciting brand of rugby if you're on the right surface. And yeah, it's different when you're watching and spectating. It's exciting, probably more nerve-wracking today than when I'm playing myself. But yeah, I know, enjoyable, really.
Well, you've got another 40 minutes to endure, maybe more. Teddy, great to see you. The teams are back out. It is now or never for Exeter. The three-peat is in jeopardy. Loughborough leading by 13. To talk you through the second half is Charlie Titcombe and Joe Burns.
An Olympic gold medal winning coach, the England students coach, and 2 blokes in dreadful jackets. What an all-star panel for you at half-time, and what a showdown we have at the StoneX here today. It was a showstopper last time, a heart stopper last time. So kettles boiled, defibrillators at the ready. Only one of these sides can write a famous chapter in their history books. Will Loughborough claim the cup for the first time since 2010, or will Exeter become only the second side in history to claim the League and Cup double? 40 minutes separates us from that bit of history. Or will it be more? I'm not sure myself or Charlie could take another round of extra time, but we're a long way away from that right now. And so are Exeter, trailing by 13, feeding the abrasive carrying of Jack Forsyth. McCaig, a lot of good stuff goes through him in the outside centre jersey. Cohen flips it to Joslin. Oh, Durrell shunted backwards by the shoulder of Exley. And Exeter streaming into the line, but again unable to escape the clutches of the Loughborough defenders. It is really epic defence from Loughborough. Hallam, the next to taste the right shoulder of Dan Eckersley, the former England 18 and Wasp man. Here comes Joslin. Here comes Benji Joslin. Benji Joslin in dreamland at the StoneX. A try to savour at the StoneX in the final, and a try to write his own personal bit of Exeter University history. No one has scored more tries than that man in green and white. He overtakes the record of Arthur Relton, and Exeter are right back in this final.
It's lovely timing at the line there from Benji. Nice ball from Cohen as well to put him away there for the line break. It's an unreal finish from Benji, to be fair to him. It's exactly what Loughborough didn't want, not the start they wanted. Game's right back in the balance.
A heart-stopping opener to the half. And Charlie McCaig maximises that try. And all of a sudden, the pendulum of momentum swings back to Devon. They still trail this Loughborough side, but the landscape has changed in the blink of an eye.
shaping to be a lot like last year. Ebbs and flows of momentum. It's just who can get a grip on this game, really.
What a finish. What a finish from Joe Stone, and is that the impetus that Exeter need to get after this Loughborough side? The double hits coming from Exeter now. Preen swarmed upon by McCaig. Eckersley. He started life as a hooker and has, well, swam against the tide really. Another inside ball, this time it's from Loughborough, and Rowson breaks the line. Lost backwards. The first glimmer of electricity from Harry Rowson, who scored a key try in last year's final. On the books with Bristol Bears, a name for the future, but here's a name for now, George Taylor. Replacement last year, starts today. Big man with big ambitions, and Loughborough have put themselves under pressure here, but Morgan Meredith is some slippery eel, isn't he?
Yeah, some player.
We've lost Charlie temporarily because he's got his hands on his head and his heart in his mouth. Rowson. Big ball over to Finn Doyle, the man who made his debut for Scotland in the under-26 nations not many months ago. Started in the fourth team last season. That's the journey that we love in BUCS Super Rugby. We are all going on a journey for the next 35 minutes, where it'll end. In the Midlands, in Devon. Who knows? Exeter are playing with 14. One of their players down, injured at the moment, receiving attention in the Loughborough half.
Again, it looks like Exeter are going to really put pressure on them with the kicking game with this wind, I think. I think Loughborough are just guilty of overplaying a little bit there inside their own 40, inside their own half. As we take a break, but yeah, I just don't want to get too sucked into letting Exeter win the territory battle and just overplay that. I think that's what they want. They want to get them all going. They want McKay kicking three, so just got to be conscious of that. Use Tom Miles' kicking game, his box kicking game, to get Rowson and Finn Doyle under the ball and create some turnover, I think, is the way they want to go.
So the man that players stop for Exeter is Chester Ribbons, wearing 22. Ribbons has only just come on at half-time, and he's not going to take any further part. He's just returning from injury. And the issue for Exeter here is they've taken Dylan Power off, who will now return, having worn a fluoro bib for all of a few minutes. And, well, that's a sad day in North London for Chester Ribbons, but Dylan Power, he was starting in that inside centre channel by virtue of his performance in the semi-final. I know that his housemate Ross Vincent will be looking on very proudly and willing him on. But I mean, what's that like, Charlie? You get taken off, you take your mind out of the game, and then suddenly you're thrown back into the fray. I guess it happens quite a lot for front rowers, but not so much players in the back line.
No, not so much, but I guess he was only off for 6 or so minutes. He'll be right back into it. I don't think it will take him much to get his head back in the game. Looks again like they're probably going to go through McCaig here. Looks like he's stepping up to be the ball player. That's a dominant Loughborough scrum. I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. See Cal Smith down there on the side. He's a front rower. He looks like he knows what he's talking about. He's waving his arms in the air.
But this scrum taking place on the side of the field that's doubling up as an amphitheatre. The Exeter Supporters Club buoyed by that early Benji score. You could probably live stream the interactions between the two sets of fans, and that would pull in a good viewership. It'd have a sort of Attenborough animalistic quality to it. McCaig spots a bit of room, tries to move Elliot Gourlay around against his will. And Gourlay,
excellent kick that into the wind.
Finds touch.
Real good from Gourlay. Looks cool at the back there.
I have real credit to Elliot Gourlay. He's played in the Premiership Cup this season for Leicester Tigers. He's a former Scotland 20, played a bit at Sale, and he's played for Caldy in the Championship. He's been shocked at the quality of BUCS Super Rugby. Said he came in and he couldn't believe just the calibre of player, the intensity of the matches. And that intensity is only travelling in one direction here at the StoneX. It's ratcheting up, and it's Exeter with a penalty and a chance to go deep into Loughborough territory.
And George Taylor off his feet there, just sealing off. He's limping as well, it looks like. But he's going to have to defend the line out here.
Durrell, so often the banker, slips from his grasp, and Hallam is first to react, but the ball has already been feathered forward off the captain's hands.
It's a good out for them, Durrell again. Targeting the line out, he's unbelievable in the air and off the kickoff, to be fair to him. Can't claim it on that occasion, but be pleased with that. Just need again just to try and get some territory, pretty similar to the first half in terms of all Exeter. In terms of territory and possession, we'll be looking to try and pin this down hopefully and get some ball in the right areas. Yeah, even better.
Exeter determined to flex their scrummaging muscles there, do so illegally. Very, very modest amount of distance from the boot of Morgan Meredith there. Half an hour remaining. Exeter 17, Loughborough 23. Loughborough looking to rebuild after Benji Jocelyn's wonder try. Well, all the coloured jerseys embroiled, but Loughborough get it to the floor, and Mario Pisciardi shrugs off the challenge of Seb Driscoll. Somehow the Spanish international still has the ball, but he's bitten off a bit too much, more than he could chew in fact. And Exeter get the scrum. Huge moments. Every mini win is a mega win.
Yeah, it feels like every knock on or held up there is just a massive momentum boost for either side. So again, it's back with Exeter. It was with Loughborough, back to Exeter now, and getting more and more like last year, and it's starting to make me nervous.
Part of me wants it, but the other part absolutely does not.
Yeah, I don't know. Not too sure. I'm not sure I can do that. 2 years on the bounce.
Last year, that final that went 100 minutes, extra time in the most dramatic of circumstances. 41 all after 80. Before a Tom Cairns try decided it. Exeter again looking for those inside ball plays. There's a real bevy of bodies on the shoulder. Seb Driscoll can't escape the clutches of Chris Preen. Back row on back row. McCaig, very, very key orchestrator of this Exeter side. Cohen picks out Tom Gully. Oh, Jake Murray always offers a bit of danger around that fringe, and he finds himself isolated, and the turnover is sublime. Gourlay doesn't catch it out of the sweet spot, instead he finds Cian Gentry.
Again, Exeter back to the boot, trying to use this win, this kicking game. Loughborough got 4 in the backfield here, so short.
Jake Murray was probably after a 9-iron. Instead, he found the lob wedge there. Somehow, the ball's made its way all the way to the Loughborough 22. The Exeter bodies pull forward, and look at the way they celebrate. Those mini-mega wins, building towards a bigger picture. Henry Lavin just striding over to stay in touch with the referee, Alan Chantrichard. There's a big leadership team within this Loughborough side. Pichardi, Fergus, Dick, who's on the bench as well. A lot of boys who've led this group together. Lavin the man, skippering today. Durrell, his opposite man, claims it in these lead and North London skies once again. Gully is latched upon by Eckersley, but there's penalty advantage here. And Loughborough, they need to watch out for this whistle.
Yeah, again, they're killing themselves a little bit here. Just allowing Exeter just to go again to their maul. Again, all the momentum with Exeter. Looks like Joe Plunkett down there for Loughborough, loosening up. Theo Mayle as well in the back row. Former Worcester Warrior, he's real dynamic.
Durrell misses it again, and off goes Rowson. Oh, that was an important tackle from Murray. When Rowson's away, he's almost gone. Big, long fizzer over the top to Doyle. Finn Doyle skating back inside, finding the pass. Loughborough looking as fluid as they've been all match. End-to-end in the hands of Meredith, who's into the 22. Finally apprehended. Exeter straying offside. If they can get it out of that blitz, Loughborough are free. They might just go through the middle. They might just strike through the hearts of this Exeter team. Pichardi out the back. Gourlay, one more pass to Rowson, who weaves back in, slaloms to the line, and he's a metre short. Miles leaves it for Preen. Still not there. Exeter hanging by a thread. Loughborough looming large. A huge moment in this final. The arms go up from Loughborough, but most crucially, the arm of Alan Chandrachud goes up. It is a try from nowhere for Loughborough. Backs to the wall, shackled in their 22, but coast to coast and taking one huge step towards claiming the BUCS Super Rugby crown.
Speechless here, Burnsy. The nerves are through the roof. Ralston again ignites something out of nothing from deep in his own 22. He's first proper time he's got the hands on his ball, hands on the ball, and managed to make a 25-30 metre break to set that one up.
Dan Eckersley, the open side, who's been everywhere. And an early charge means that this one will be uncontested. Well, Keane Gentry is in the eye line of Morgan Meredith here, and he's done enough. But that is controversial. Keane Gentry charged early, then he hung around in the atmosphere of Morgan Meredith, who's missed his first kick in an eternity, only his second of the season. And it's 5 to Loughborough, but they've missed the opportunity to maximise. I mean, that could be huge.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing. He definitely knows what he's doing. I wouldn't be happy if I was Morgs there, but 5 points nonetheless. 28-17 makes it an 11-point game.
The ball pinballs around, some statuesque forwards, and it comes out on the side of Exeter. Milo Hallam, the two-time cup winner, third consecutive final. He's only ever known glory. But right now Exeter are on the doorstep of defeat. And big moments from big individuals like the try scorer Dan Eckersley.
Eckersley's been absolutely immense today. His first 58 minutes anyway. Hitting anything that comes at him, turning ball over. That's massive again for momentum. I know I talk a lot about momentum, but that's all it is in the final, ebbs and flows, and who can keep hold of it for the longest. It's advantage Loughborough at the minute.
A slow arrival to the line out. Joe Plunkett, a try scorer last year, finds his jumper. Ralston menacingly is coming into the game increasingly. What a carry from Owen Evans. Trampling Exeter defenders on his way, and it gives front foot momentum Forsyth. So almost on there, his opposite man Eckersley gets consumed by green and white jerseys, but still he finds the meters. Green charging into the 22. A rogue hand comes out. It has to be a penalty try and a yellow card.
Looking at Anthony Allen, Loughborough coaching staff, it's got to be a pen try here, doesn't it?
This could be the final. Exeter immediately carded. The officials confer, and the penalty try is confirmed. Exeter gambled in defence. It didn't pay off, and now they've paid the ultimate price.
Again, Morgan Meredith pulling strings. Lovely ball on the missed pass there to Prino. He's playing it on slow-mo, he's playing it on easy mode right now. As we see Charlie Breers, he's got a really good long kicking game, so he'll be looking to use this into this wind, I think.
Hugo Ellaby, who has been quite exquisite today at the back, all of a sudden finds himself the villain. But really, The damage had been done already, and Loughborough are beginning to enjoy themselves. Crossfield to Rowson. Preen bristling. But a turnover for Exeter. They need every moment to go their way from now on. 18 points, the difference. And about as many minutes left to play.
Still time in this game. I don't know if it's a better decision to kick long and just force the pressure, I don't know, but Morgs has obviously seen some space, but just led to another Exeter probably mauled.
Jake Murray travels, brings in Power, who gets deleted by Dan Eckersley. And Loughborough are running riot. Loughborough striking like lightning, but getting tangled in their own bootstraps. Finn Doyle brought down. Pressure arriving from Exeter, handling errors creeping in. And Exeter live to fight another day.
Dan Eckersley, I can't say anything more about him. He's forced a turnover by absolutely belting a bloke. I'm not sure who he hit, but I feel sorry for him in the morning. He's an absolute man on a mission today.
Well, this, of course, is part one of a potentially historic double for the University of Loughborough. Their women in the Women's National League final against Hartpury. The two-time champions chasing their own three-peat. And just the swell of emotion and momentum is tinged African violet in every act right now. Charlie Titcombe, do you dare to believe?
Oh, I don't want to say anything just yet. There's still 17 minutes in this, and Exeter can strike from anywhere, but we're in a pretty good position right now. Let's get this ball rolling, get one more, and I can probably breathe a little bit easier. But
shots of the women of Loughborough arriving, having quite magnificently defeated Exeter in the semi-final. Their men, inspired by their feats, bringing the noise here at the StoneX to the Green Machine. One more try puts this beyond any doubt. Loughborough battering away. Exeter defending for their lives. The African Violet Barbarians at the gates. Pick and go and drive. And the referee looking to pick apart that Jenga of BUCS Super Rugby bodies, but quite extraordinary. Remarkably held up.
it's not the end of the world. They get a repeat set here. Ecker's in the middle of the pitch, potentially going to carry one back here, but again, good driving maul, good patience. That's unfortunately well defended by Exeter there, holding them up. But a repeat set again here for Loughborough, just to keep coming back at them. That's what they need. They need the territory. They need just as much time down in their half as possible.
Exeter are emptying the bench. Josh McAndrew wearing 16 is on. Chris Freeman wearing 17 has made his way onto the field. It'll be the last time we'll see the Flair's finest Jared Williams in EURFC colours. It is looking like that man won't add a third and final Cup championship to his fabled name at Exeter. Gourlay with a bit of vision and almost the execution, but Finn Doyle not quite rapid enough.
Good vision from Gourlay again, but again forcing Exeter to exit or to play from deep, chasing it, so it's not a bad decision. I like it from Gourlay. He's fuming with himself, but it's a man who demands high standards, it looks like.
Loughborough playing their rugby in precisely the part of the field that they need to be. In Exeter's 22, Forsyth taken high. And this Loughborough side, 47 players used across the season to get them to this point. It was pretty cool this week, both universities sharing the pictures of every single player who's got them to this final, nearly 100 between the two sides, but only 23 able to take to this famous stadium to potentially create history. 2010, the last time Loughborough lifted the cup. They're 13 minutes away from doing so here at the StoneX. Exeter still down to 14. Benji Jocelyn, bit of magic would do very nicely from him as far as Exeter are concerned. Josh McAndrew with the first dart. McCaig straightening. Rowson not missing.
Oh, it's unreal. Great strip. Give it.
Bailey's had his pocket picked, and Loughborough run out wide. Pishardi, he had to go to the space instead. He bounced off his right. Maybe the moment gone. Meredith throws a risky one. It's plucked. A gift from the rugby gods. Devon sent, and a lifeline for Exeter. Just when all hope had gone, Benji Jocelyn arrives. Charlie.
I don't know what to say here, Burnsy, but again, Benji's he's been really electric for Exeter the whole game. Gambles on that pass from Morgs and then to length, but just if I'm being hypercritical, I think that ball had to go from Pichardi, and it's probably 7 points the other way. He's been immense this game, but looks like Morgan's off, Reece Malone's on, got a whole host of experience, and with his kicking game, with his ability to manage a game, he's got 11 minutes to see out the game here, so a lot of pressure on him, but I've got no doubt he can do it. Morgs has been absolutely outstanding today by that intercept, so he can hold his head high. He's been excellent. Minkoff as well. I think Tristan Smith on there in the tight head.
A cannon of a kick sends Loughborough racing all the way back to their 5 metre line, and a slice to boots from Reece Malone. That pendulum that refuses to stop swinging between these two titans of university rugby shifts once again to the green and white side. 11 points the difference. 11 minutes just about to go, but the line-out malfunctions at the crucial time for Exeter. Eckersley, who's been a force of nature all final. His carry takes a bit of oxygen out of this Exeter comeback. And a penalty.
Inside the 10, it's looking a bit, it's getting cagey this last 10 minutes. This is pressure, this is what everyone plays for at the end of the season. It's just who can get a hold of this, who can apply pressure in the right areas, who can control it. So Aaron Nixon down, I think, with a bit of cramp. I think he's just being smart, trying to slow the clock down.
Well, it's interesting because Exeter are in no real rush to form this line out. They need 2 scores. They've only got 9 minutes to do so. Composure or lack of urgency, I'll leave that up to you, but Joe Bailey climbs highest in the skies. Off goes J Mack. The Mack attack, rampaging through the Loughborough defence. Exeter careering into African Violet tackles. They got a penalty as Chris Freeman is halted inches from the line. Clustering round the ball, feeding the belief. Josh McAndrew over the top and giving away a penalty. Well, he went steaming Willie Beeman style.
He's a big old boy, to be fair. That's a hell of a carry off the line out. Not what you want as a 10 coming down your channel. Reece is getting a bit of treatment. I'm not sure if that's a head knock or a shoulder, or it's unfortunate now he's just come on. Probably his last game for Loughborough. Hopefully he'll be all right.
Well, let's take a look at this here. It was a barnstorming carry. Speed bumped Morgan Meredith, and it still took 3 more jerseys to stop him. And I thought Exeter had advantage at this point. And I wonder if Josh McAndrew thought so too. The arm's not out now. He goes, oh, he's tackled and then has another leap. A big call, the right call from Alan Chandrachud.
Yeah, Reece Malone seems like he's all right. Might have just been a stinger or shoulder, but it's a great kick into the wind to give Loughborough a platform here. Oh no, he's not all right, is he? Might be off for an HIA, and Morgs is back on.
Six and a half minutes remaining. As he said, Morgan Meredith back on, and he wasn't the one who was trampled on. I did Morgan Meredith a disservice there. But Exeter are back to the full complement. Kofi Barton-Byfield, the man wearing leggings, onto the edge, and Hugo Ellaby restored to the full-back position. A penalty to Exeter. They need to act quick here. They need 2 tries. A penalty won't do them any favours, so they've got to surge down this track, and that is the most monstrous touch finder you will find.
Excellent kick from Cohen, to be fair to him. Stone's on him there to go for it. I don't know if they'll run. No, it doesn't look like they're going to run the same play with the hooker off the back of the line out, but
scrappy ball. Josh McAndrew mops up the mess and somersaults forward. Milo Hallam, 2 tries in last year's final. 1 now would be even more precious. Forsyth skipping through the tackle attempts as such is his way. Freeman bulldozing his way forward. Exeter looking rhythmic. Inside ball, and Benchy Jocelyn is ended by Charlie Breers. Kofi Barton-Byfield, a man with a taste for the mercurial. Hallam cut in half by Evans. Durrell out the back. Exeter running out of numbers, running into hard-hitting men like Chris Breen. Oh, if that ball had gone a bit earlier, Barton-Byfield might have just plunged through the hole. Again, the referee's arm was out. I don't know if penalty advantage is coming. McKay to Ellaby. Ellaby, Jocelyn on the shoulder. Jocelyn, a hat-trick in the final. Jocelyn to light the touch paper at the StoneX, to carry Exeter on his own back alone and give them a glimmer of hope in a final that moments ago was lost. But the big question is, was that forward?
I don't know. Ellaby, though, he's been slippery all game. And Benji's got his hat-trick, but questionable there. I'm not sure if it looked forward from our view up here. D-Rod just giving me the eyes down there. He thinks it's forward as well. But nonetheless, this is an important kick here for McCaig.
Charlie McCaig, he hasn't missed. And he won't miss now when it matters the most. Exeter 31, Loughborough 35. Three and a half minutes to play. Strap yourselves in. There's more twists and turns on this roller coaster to come. We may have lost Charlie Titcombe for the remainder. Loughborough stunned, hanging by a thread. Exeter boy, and Loughborough throwing risky out the backdoor passes. The Loughborough coaching staff are alongside us with furrowed brows.
Just got to be really, really disciplined for Loughborough. Don't give away any penalties, play in the right areas of the pitch. 3 minutes to go and just defend for your life.
Well, Josh McAndrew is proving problematic to stop. The whole atmosphere of the StoneX flipped in a matter of moments. Exeter go to the skies that are crystal blue with white wisps now. Composure required from Loughborough. Loughborough who lead, their bench glued to their seats. Exeter's bench on their feet, right up to the pitch side, roaring at every moment. Josh McAndrew, what an impact he's made. McCaig spots a bit of space, plants the ball in the 22. Gourlay just about evades Kofi Barton Byfield, but he lands his buddy in hot water. And Exeter will have maybe just one last launch pad to strike a final snatching attack. Joe Bailey, unchallenged. Murray travelling. Power just weaves at the last moment, but Preen's wise to it. Hallam into Eckersley, who's been titanic all final. Durrell, their captain, careering forward. McCaig throws the intercept and throws the BUCS Super Rugby Cup Championship, but it's an extraordinary cover tackle.
Oh my God, that is an absolutely immense play from Gourlay. What am I watching?
Jaws on floor, lungs burst, nerves shredded. Ben Cohen, the hero, just as Elliot Gourlay looks like he may just wrap up the cup.
Boys cramping left, right and centre. Gourlay's just about hanging on by a thread. He's come up with some immense plays. That is a clutch play, and that is a seriously ballsy play to go for that. If he doesn't get that, that's try time.
That was do or die. Gourlay went for it. He was home and hosed. I mean, the speed from Cohen to get there, the tackle as well.
Yeah, that's last-ditch stuff. That's all up top from him. Serious speed, serious bit of fight as well. Fair play to him. Keeps his team in it, gives him an opportunity. I think they've got a scrum here. Scrum or line, I'm not too sure. About a minute to play. I don't know. I don't know if we're linked up with the ref, but I hope it's not much longer than a minute. But Loughborough just have to be really, really disciplined here and just defend for their lives. Like I said, as far as Exeter, I'll be getting Benji Joseph the ball because he can score from anywhere.
What is it about Exeter and Loughborough in cup finals at this ground? The Exeter Supporters Club in the top right of your screen have just gone berserk. They're looking to breathe one last blast of oxygen into the comeback hopes of their green and white man, Loughborough, who had 1.5 hands on the cup barely 15 minutes ago, have one last wave of Devon attack to repel. Ellaby switches in the middle. Benji Joseph, already 3 tries. Game breakers on both sides, ready to have their moment. But it's Loughborough's defenders who are being called upon to put their bodies on the line.
Get on it.
A jackal attempt almost there from Owen Evans. Exeter have got 75 metres to go. Benji Jocelyn's down.
Time.
That's the official time on our clock, but the referee may have more. McKay goes out the back. Power.
Have to be disciplined here.
To Forsyth.
Have to be disciplined.
Rowson almost thought he had it. Josh McAndrew. Joe Bailey. Who's got the energy? Who's got the mental sharpness? Who will prevail? Exeter, so many phases, so few metres as the African violet wall stands resolute. McCaig to his captain. Forsyth meets the man Mountain Eckersley. And is that the last snaffle? There's a scrap on the floor, in the air. Which side's it coming out on? Exeter still with hope. Still with 75 metres to go. This has to be the last play. Shattered bodies. 203 days of competition. 18 grueling regular season rounds. 2 pulsating knockout matches. And 80 minutes on the final clock, distilled down to this singular moment, this singular set. McCaig to Forsyth again. He's everywhere at the last gasp. Murray, Ellaby. No way through this African violet wall. Exeter seeking a penalty as the shot comes in from Breers. Now there might be a bit of room out on the left edge as the defence cinches in. How much longer can these 30 men collide with each other with such ferocity. McKay. More big tackles, this time Fergus Dick hitting low and hard. Exeter out the back. Kofi Barton Byfield, the magic man, gets scragged. More purple jerseys arrive, but still the faintest of hopes remain alive for Exeter until the turnover comes. The ball fly hacked across the touchline. And Loughborough crowned in the most dramatic of finals. The sun bursts through. The sleeping giant has been awoken. A first cup since 2010. And the grey skies of North London have cleared. And they are alight with African violets. Full time in part 2 of the showdown at the StoneX. Exeter 31, Loughborough 35.
We said it couldn't get like as good as last year, but oh my, they got bloody close. They got bloody close. I'm absolutely buzzing for these boys. I've got to say though, Exeter, like I said at half-time, like we spoke about at half-time, they weren't going to stop. They weren't going to stop coming for Loughborough, and they did. And Benji, he was the catalyst in a lot of them. He was absolutely immense today, as were a lot of them. Jack Forsyth as well, Lucas Durrell, been massive players for them all season. But I'm absolutely buzzing for these boys. I'm absolutely buzzing for they get revenge for last year, because there's a lot of boys leaving there this year that are going to remember that for a long, long time.
And last year was described as the greatest final in university history, the greatest match, arguably better than any you'll see around the world. We thought it couldn't be better, maybe not, but certainly rivaled with the drama that has been dished up by these Herculean individuals who have treated us just to another extraordinary demonstration of why BUCS Super Rugby is quite simply the best league in the land.
Oh, it's outrageous, Burnsy. It's up there with one of the best games I've watched. Just boys absolutely putting a shift in for the boys next to each other, both sides, defending for their life. You say BUCS Super Rugby, the final last year put it on the map, but this is right up there as well. Arguably beats it. You know, we talk about the momentum coming and going and all of that, but it's absolutely outrageous.
Breathless, extraordinary, simply remarkable. Charlie, I know you're desperate to get into those celebrations, but I needed to pick a player of the match, because in all the drama, we forgot to even address it. We couldn't take our eyes and our lips away from the action that we had.
Yeah,
but Charlie, who's your player of the match?
Well, I just want to say, from an Exeter point of view, I thought Benji was absolutely excellent. Charlie McKay as well, a lot went through him. I think Cohen as well at 10 had a good game. And obviously, look across the back row, the whole back row was excellent. Durrell and Forsyth as well. Josh McAndrew coming on added a load of physicality, and just a few nominees. Loughborough, Gourlay came up with some clutch plays. Pichardi, Lavin, the whole back row, but Morgan, obviously, sorry, I don't want to forget Morgan out, he's been excellent, but Dan Eckersley, absolutely monumental today, physically, banging blokes, turning ball over, and he was absolutely excellent today. So yeah, Dan Eckersley's my man of the match.
Dan Eckersley, the BUCS Super Rugby Cup final player of the match. At times, you felt like there were 7 of him on the pitch, but it was the man, one man, wearing 7 for Loughborough. What a huddle to be in. It's one that you need to go and get a part of, Charlie. Thank you for your time, and I'm going to use it has an opportunity now to throw down to the studio, where Dave Rogers has not just Darren Fern, but he has Gareth Baber. And we're going to get to him in a moment, because let's just look at these scenes.
Absolutely incredible, Burnsy. Even the sun came out from behind the grey clouds here towards the end there, because everybody wanted to watch this. Dasford, Gareth Baber, where do we start with that one? Firstly, huge congratulations to Loughborough for such a rugby powerhouse. The first time they lifted that trophy, and that is some achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was, as you said, it was a great game. Great to both teams and coaches, but yeah, Loughborough, they took their opportunities. Some big moments. I think it was Elliot Gawley getting that intercept off that Exeter attack and running the length. That was a big moment in the game. So yeah, credit to them, and fully deserved.
Well, we've got plenty to talk about, but first of all, before we catch up with the player of the match, let's talk about the highlights, the tries in the game. There were plenty to digest. The first ones seem a long time ago now, but the first try went to Chris Preen. He really got them off to a great start. They were under the pump there. It was a brilliant finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good finish, and obviously Exeter's trying to bring as much line speed in the defence, but just finding the edge of that was something I think Loughborough could have gone to. We discussed this one at half-time. This was around the driving lineouts. We knew that both teams were good at this, and I thought they were clinical in that, sort of coming into the half.
Well, let's bring up Exeter's line-up then, because it really cost them in the second half, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and I think they were hoping to get more moments like this. They wanted to capitalise, and they couldn't do that, and listen, it happens, and I'm sure they're reflecting it, but yeah, they'll be disappointed with it.
So that was the try that got Exeter back into it, but they made a couple of mistakes. Then it was Loughborough's turn to go for the drive-in line-out, and to back yourself from 10 metres out, that's no mean feat.
Yeah, and again, we said they went for the corner, could have gone for the sticks. Morgan was kicking well, but they trusted what they were doing in the line-out. Backs joined in, and they got over the line. Fair play.
So this was the try that increased Loughborough's lead. They brought the backs in there. You can see that red scrum cap of Chris Preen. You know, when the backs join, there's serious pressure on scoring that try. Then it was Exeter started the second half so well. This was Benchy Jocelyn, a hat-trick in the end. This was a wonderful finish.
Yeah, it was a great finish as well, wasn't it? But that was a shape that Exeter ran all through the game. They were trying to get to that multiple times and getting like one-on-ones in those spaces for somebody like that to go through and capitalise. And I thought that really sort of got them back into where they believed they were back in the game.
Well, that cut the lead, and then Dan Eckersley, he was awarded the man of the match. He went in from close range, and it was at a time where Exeter were once again on top. They dominated for 10-15 minutes of the second half. They've got the try, but Dan Eckersley, diminutive back rower, found a way.
Yeah, he was outstanding, and he just, this was a great moment as well. Great read. I think they tried to get it to an edge, and Benji read it, and great finish. Another good try for Benj.
And that was key, because obviously I think, Loughborough thought they were done and dusted at that point. There's about 11 minutes in the game, and all of a sudden the momentum swings. You start to question a few things in your own head. Try to work out, and then all of a sudden Exeter on the front foot again. And again, this is that same shape that they're looking to run. Great pace in the space, and that offload out the back door is tremendous.
And at that point we thought, are they going to do it? They had so many opportunities. They seemed as though they'd sorted out those problems, because the line-out had really let them down. They got back to within 4 points, because what did they trail by? It was in the teens. It was 35-17 at one point. Then all the ghosts start to spook you from last year. You said to me, Loughborough will be thinking, oh no, not again. But they found a way to hold on.
Yeah, credit to them. And again, I alluded to it before, that big moment when the Exeter were attacking the 22, and I think Elliot Gawley intercept, got them down the field. Like, that was a big momentum swing. And part of me was thinking they could have gone the length at the end there. They've got it in them, but great defence, great discipline from Loughborough, and that got them over the line.
So what whether the ball was live for 3 or 4 minutes for Exeter there, inside the 22, just finding a way, but looking for a penalty. No penalty comes. At what point do you roll the dice? And do you think there'll be any regrets? Maybe someone thinking, oh, I wish I'd gone for the chip or the crossfield or something.
No, I think at that point, obviously, you've got to go to what you are as a team. You're waiting for the opposition to give up an error, whether it be a penalty, a high shot, or somebody doesn't get something right in defence. But I think Exeter will look back at other opportunities within the game. It didn't come down to that last sort of 2.5 minutes. It was more about the opportunities they had to potentially put into the game what they had, and I don't think they did enough of that, and Loughborough came away with a deserved victory.
But here we are again. So 3 years ago we're at Six Ways. It's a 2-point game that Exeter win, and it's decided late against Durham. And then last year, we've talked about it here, a 4-point game, 48-44. Another year on, we've got a 35-31 again that's could have been decided right at the death. This league, these teams, you've both been heavily involved with it over the years. It just produces special players, special teams, and special moments. Why, Daz? Why? What is it?
I think there's a few things. I think the age profile of them, the freedom that they play with. I think there's they back themselves, like they've not been restricted. Again, the age profile they're learning. So things where they might overthink things, they play with that freedom. They use their attributes. The fit lads, like they train hard, they work hard, and I think that's why we get what we get.
Is that what you encourage in your group then, to express yourself, to back yourself, to play to the identity yourself and the team that you're putting together?
Yeah, I think obviously my first year of having a look at it and being involved at this level, you know, you've seen some good coaching out there as well. You know, everybody's got an identity in the way that they play, and you know, as a coaching group, what you're trying to do is create decision makers, give individuals autonomy to do things on the field, but stay within the parameters of being a team. And I think both teams show that today. There was errors out there, but there was some great elements of skill, be it, you know, a shape that Exeter are running and putting people into spaces and the finishing. You're seeing some stuff, you know, where defences are outdoing attacks, and I think certainly, as we've just talked about there, the sort of age profile of the players, where they are in that sort of development pathway, if you like, and the fact that the coaching groups are getting them to get out there and play good rugby. And you know, you get to a final, sometimes finals can be quite dour. They can be quite dour affairs.
Not in this league.
Not in this league, and I think that's what the beauty of it, and I think it's where the attraction is for everybody, you know, watching, and particularly if you're involved in university rugby and you're part of universities.
What did you like about Exeter in that second half? Because they did put their foot on the gas, didn't they?
Yeah, that first the Benji try where he played out the back and finished it well. Like you could tell that's what they were going after most of the game, and they got it, and they looked really sharp. Like that they were coming on with momentum, and they took people on. I think just the will to get back into that game. Like how many teams, how many of us would be like, right, we're done with this game, and they went out and they made it a last-minute game, really, didn't they? So credit to them for that.
And some of the physicality they brought in that second half as well.
Yeah, they're a physical team. Everybody that's played them, Gareth said it when they played them, like they're a very physical team. They've got some very physical individuals, and you know, every year you play Exeter, you know they're going to be physical and they're going to work hard.
What about Loughborough then? Because they did lose that physical battle. They lost it on a gain line, but to still be able to find a way to win that game does show a huge amount of character.
No, absolutely, and I think even to see it through to the end there when Exeter started to come back into it. But, you know, again, I'll come back. I think there was a couple of areas, certainly on line-out. One of the tries that Loughborough scored, that obviously come up this end, we just described there, came off a line-out on the 5 metre to Exeter in Loughborough's 22. You know, you give something like that up, and all of a sudden the opposition start to grow. And I think that, you know, what Loughborough did is they capitalised well on those. You don't always get them. There was even a couple more towards the end that we just spoken about, and I think that you know, really credit to Loughborough to stay in that space, to really back themselves to get to where they needed to, and I thought, you know, it's credit to them to finish the game the way they did.
Well, let's go back to that try then, because on the replay we saw the short range finish from Dan Eckersley just behind you there, the corner that Kofi Barton-Byfield scored that unbelievable try last season. But that came from the line-out error, but the execution from Loughborough to back themselves from inside the 22, the offloads up the right-hand side, they just played fearlessly.
Yeah, that's their, you know, as I said before that, I see that as their game. It's what we've struggled against when we played against them is, you know, that transition, that broken field attack. They've got some, you know, got some skillful players in their back three. They've got a lot of pace in there. And, you know, they recognised that was an opportunity for them to go and create some pressure on Exeter. And, you know, they didn't think, I don't know if they believed they were going to score from there, but they certainly had the wherewithal to actually attack Exeter at that point and then get all the way up the other end of the field and score.
I'm just thinking about that break up the same side as well. Elliot Gawley in, what was it, the 78th minute. I'd imagine that try line 80 metres away probably looked like 800 metres, didn't it? Because he put in a heck of a shift today.
Well, believe it or not, I've never experienced that myself, Dave. But yeah, he's. I think he was cramping before that as well. So, but fair play. And I think was it going the 10. He chased him back. Like that's big efforts that from Elliot to intercept it, but also to get back and tackle. Like again, it shows where these two teams are at.
Well, now it is time for medals and, of course, the trophy. Burnsy, take us home.
Well, chaps, wonderful to hear your thoughts, and well, thank you for giving me a moment to compose myself. If last year was a final for the ages, well, this one may just echo into the next century. The officials acknowledged and thanks, and the medals at the ready. We call it the best league in the land, and I would challenge anyone to find another more thrilling. And this now, a moment for Dan Eckersley to savour. A force of nature out there today. A try, arguably the smallest contribution of his. He was everywhere, both sides of the ball, and he set the tone for a performance, a championship winning performance. Well, for Lucas Durrell, he knows what it's like to be the player of the match. He was so last year, and last year he had the cup in his hands. Kofi Barton-Byfield, victorious last year also, but Devon dreams of a three-peat dashed by an inspired Loughborough. These guys will come back. They'll come back stronger, bigger and better, as they always do. They'll end the season as league champions. But the disappointment etched large across the faces tell you that this is the cup that matters the most. Jared Williams ends his EURC career with 57 BUCS Super Rugby appearances, 2 cup championships, but he won't get the hat-trick. And for this Exeter side, there is cause for optimism in the future. 8 freshers in the 23 today. That man Benji Jocelyn, a hat-trick in a losing cause. And all of this battled out under the eye of the great Keith Fleming, who has flown over from Ireland. It's the house that Keith built. And while a historic League and Cup double may not have been achieved, the foundations are strong at Exeter, and more championships will be built upon these young men. Last year, Loughborough came out on the losing side in agonising fashion. They won the title last year. The cup escaped their clutches after 100 minutes of rugby, and the 2 individuals who led them there, Charlie Titcombe and last year's captain Teddy Leatherbarrow. They may not have lifted the cup themselves, but they get to share in this moment with their teammates and those who follow in their footsteps here today in African Violet. Second in the league, 47 players contributing to the mammoth task of claiming the BUCS Super Rugby crown. But these 23 producing a performance, the performance of their university lives. 2010 was the last time this fated university lifted the BUCS National Cup. Well, the 14-year wait is over. The cup is in Captain Henry Lavin's hands. Loughborough are the BUCS Super Rugby Cup champions. Core memories made. A moment in time to never forget. Finals are special. Winning finals are the rarest of gems. And these men in African violet will be bonded together forevermore for their exploits here at the StoneX today at the second showdown. And one that sees them best the best. An incredible man right there, Martin Webdale, has led them to this triumph. A true rugby man, a huge advocate for university rugby and all that BUCS Super Rugby represents. Magnanimous in defeat last year, but glorious in victory today. Right, Laura Shane Jones is right amongst the action, and she's with our player of the match, Dan Eckersley.
Thanks, Bernsey. Dan, congratulations. What a day! Champions of BUCS and player of the match.
Thank you. Yeah, it means so much, especially after last year, getting so close. Yeah, it's a special day.
Were you worried they were going to come back in the end?
Yeah, it got a bit tight, but we had our game plan. I think we went away from that a bit during the end, and then we came back to it. Really big D set up there for 3.5 minutes, keep him in there in 22, and yeah, we got the crucial turnover at the end and won the match. So
You obviously got to try yourself. Please get over the line.
Yeah, I don't often get over the line, and it seems to be always a little 2-metre drive. So yeah, always great to get over the line, especially in the final.
Talk to me about these teammates of yours. The bonds that you form in university are pretty special, but they're even more special when you're doing it on a rugby pitch, week in, week out. What's it been like this season with these lads?
It's been absolutely amazing. You know, every day together in the gym, on the training, you know, going out having fun. It's like a family, and this year it's been just so close. You know, at the end of the day, we talk about being a brotherhood, and it really feels like they are brothers.
Last year's BUCS Super Rugby final was touted as being the best ever, but this one's been pretty special. How good is this league? How good is this competition?
It's just amazing. Yeah, it's so fast, so physical, and yeah, it's so much fun. I've never had so much fun playing rugby, and that's why I love it.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, the dying embers of that extraordinary final. And the good news is, everybody, we ain't done yet on finals day here at the StoneX, because the Women's National League is up next, and it is Hartbury chasing another slice of history for the famous University in Red, but stood in their way are Loughborough, who would look to make it the most unique of men's and women's doubles here today. Katie Trevathan will be the one masterminding Loughborough's attempts to lift the trophy, but let's hear it from the man who's done it for the men, Martin Webdale. He's down there with LJ again.
Martin, you've got the lads with you here.
Yeah.
A special day. I'm not saying we wrote you off pre-match, but we talked a lot about coming to this off of 2 losses in the league and losing to this team last season. What did you change today to get this fantastic result?
Oh, look, we had a real belief, as you said, post-Christmas we performed well. We had a plan and we executed that plan today. We were brave and it came off. Fair play to Exeter. That was a great final, and it showed the strength of BUCS Super Rugby as a league and as a whole.
it showed the strength of BUCS Super Rugby, but it also showed how exciting it is. Last year we said it was the most exciting final ever. This one was pretty special. But tell me, how worried were you in the last 20 minutes? It looked like they were coming back. You held them off though.
Oh, the heart rate was going, certainly. It was exciting up there. But it's testament to our conditioning, to our conditioners, Matt Cook, Adam Brown and his team. Just in terms of that, we really came strong that back end. I think that last defensive set was probably about 3 minutes long, and the guys stood up and fought for each other, and that was the big thing, just looking after each other inside and out and working really hard as a team.
How proud are you of this group of young lads? Because they are pretty young. They're a special group. They've put a lot behind them to get here today. What's it like being their coach this season?
Oh, it's brilliant. From 1 to 23 and the 47 guys who play BUCS Super Rugby this season, couldn't be prouder of them. Absolutely delighted for us as a group and for the university as a whole.
Dan Eckersley was obviously our player of the match, but I always ask the head coach who was theirs. Who was your player of the match in this BUCS final today?
Oh, look, Dan's been outstanding for us since Christmas, and fair play, very well deserved. I thought the whole of the forward pack were brilliant, and from 1 to 23 we were strong, so couldn't pick anyone else out.
And what's next for Loughborough? Obviously, Exeter were going for the three-peat. Everyone's trying to emulate that Hartbury success from the beginning of the BUCS era. How do you go about building a dynasty now with this Loughborough side?
Oh, look, winning the league last year was great for us, and that set a marker down. It's being in that finals day every year is a huge thing for us, and we'll just keep on working, keep on trucking on that.
And the big question now, can Loughborough make it the double today?
Like to hope so. The women are there. Like, it's a one-off game. They've worked really hard to get here, and they're really strong. So fingers crossed for KT and her team.
Marv, thanks for your time and huge congratulations today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The winning coach on a momentous day for Loughborough University. They have at long last claimed the BUCS Super Rugby Cup crown. And you heard right there, they are chasing a double with their women up next in the Women's National League against the indomitable Hartbury. Will it be a three-peat or will it be more history for the African Violet? Stay tuned, go find a dark room, have a lie down and come back revived, because there is more end-to-end nerve-jangling action in the Women's National League to come. But for now, I will leave you with the highlights of one of the greatest finals in the history of university rugby, and one that is climaxed with Loughborough as champions.